for it, yeah. We're for it, yeah. We're for it, yeah. We're for it, yeah.
Hey sis, I
Hi, girl.
so excited for this episode. We were just talking and I said this one is a long time coming because I've
Mhm.
wanted you on the podcast for ages. You are absolutely one of my favorite artists of all time. That's not a
Oh
dramatic,
no, thank
no,
you.
of all time. My Spotify wrapped every year is Confidence, and then this year is gonna be all of the Bethel album. So I am really grateful and really excited to have you on the podcast. Before we jump into questions straight away, please do introduce yourself to those who are watching and listening.
Okay. Hi, my name is Emandiong, and I'm a minister of the gospel. I do gospel music, and I do everything that the Holy Spirit inspires me to do. And as much as I want to stay in music, I know that there's more. So yeah, that's just in a snapshot. That's who I am.
In a nutshell, yeah.
Yeah.
Singer, songwriter, producer. Yeah, we love you over here. We're a big fan. And when I say I'm a fan, I mean a real fan. I remember your first like solo single you
Mm-hmm.
dropped 2020, Confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, even back then you went by Emma.
Yes, I went by the short. It was Limo who told me to change my name because
Why?
apparently it was too hard to find. So Emma is just the short form of my actual of Emandiong. That's it. So we just had to sit on it, and then we eventually said, okay, people will learn to pronounce it, and people are learning to pronounce it. So yeah, so it was Limo who told me to change it.
Do you know what the funny thing is? I remember when Confidence came out and then there was a few more singles, Covenant Baby, they came through. There
Mm-hmm.
would always be like other people's music under your name
But
because the name
yes.
was so hard to find.
Oh God, the days, man. No. I feel triggered. And then you'd have to email Spotify and tell them, please, this is not me. Nah, man. I'm telling you, that was very good counsel, changing my name, honestly speaking. But yeah.
That makes me laugh because that's actually why I thought you changed it. But I love
Yeah.
that you were like, listen, I'm gonna make you pronounce my Nigerian name and
Yep.
you will learn.
You
Um,
learn.
and people will, they 100% will, especially when the music is good. It's like, hey, you want to talk about the artist, you need to be able to say her name. But
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, what is something that Emandiong of 2020 would be
Mm.
surprised to see you of 2025 doing or being?
Ooh. Ooh. Do you know what's interesting? I've become such a prayer warrior. I know it's weird. I really have. Now, obviously, I was praying in 2020. Oh, this is a big one. So, by the grace of God, and I say this with all humility, because not by power, not by might, but I don't listen to secular music anymore. Yeah. So it was in 2023, God told me, and He was like, "You keep looking to the world for the formula, but they don't have it." That's what they said. Because I didn't realize that I was subconsciously at the point always waiting to see what was going on in that scene. And which, to be honest, is what a lot of people do in this space. And I think it's such a risky place to be, especially because of the kind of music that we make. We already make one that's not the conventional gospel. So it's important to be very careful with those boundaries. So I remember God just telling me, you're looking to the world for the formula, they don't have it. And then in 2023, I stopped listening to secular music, and that was when He gave me Bethel. So yeah, yeah. So I think me of 2020 would be shook to the bones that I don't listen to secular music and that I don't watch TV anymore because consecration. I
Like
know, I know, I
any
know.
TV, any?
No, this year I'm not watching TV. So, and one of my favorite shows is The Office. I don't know if you know The Office.
Yes, of
Yes.
course.
Oh God, I could cry. I miss it so much. But yeah, so I think those are two things. I think just consecration. My consecration is way stronger, and I bless God for it. I'm telling you, it's not by power, not by might. So I know for a fact that content-wise, entertainment-wise, confidence Emma would be like, wow, we've come a long way. For sure. Yeah, yeah.
Then Confidence Emma will see a whole album that's come out in
Yes.
2025 and be like, oh, okay, we were doing singles back then.
Yeah. With that, also, I don't think she would have been that surprised though. I don't think she would have been that surprised because I think at the time, a problem of mine was that I struggled to find producers who understood my sound. So I think once I, after 2022, when I met my current producer, then I was like, oh, finally you get my sound. So now we can make all the music that we've been trying to make. So I think that's one thing. But I think Confidence Emma would also be surprised about the name of the album, Bethel. Yeah, because at the time I was going to give my project some very stupid name. So yeah.
I mean, we'll jump into music in a bit. I want to start kind of right at the beginning. In fact, you grew up in. I always say, see, listen, I'm Nigerian too, right? We say Port Harcourt, right?
Yes.
In English, it's Port Harcourt.
Sure.
So I struggle when I see the word written down because it's not Port Harcourt, but it's Port Harcourt. Anyway.
I say PH.
PH, yeah.
You can save myself.
But you grew up in Nigeria, and I would love to know a little bit about your early life. Like, did you grow up around music? Was that in your life? Were your family musical? What was your kind of upbringing like?
Okay, so I was born in Warri, and then when I was 2, I moved to Port Harcourt. And then I wouldn't say that I grew up in a family that valued music, as Google says. I actually did not. At the same time, I always made music. I always sang. I think the first song that I composed was when I was 4, and it was Biscuit and Ribena and Biscuit. Yeah, that's what it was.
Boss.
You know, Ribena signed me. But anyways, so sha. So yeah, I always made music. Now I know that when I was very young, someone bought me a toy piano, and then apparently I was playing it so much, my mom seized it. I was like 5 or something. Yeah. So that's kind of the background that I come from. I'm an only child, like I said. So I was kind of I was groomed to get into corporate, so whether it was in Nigeria or in the US. So that's really my upbringing. I think I had a lot of spare time on my hands because I didn't have siblings. So I was always making music. I was always writing movies. I was always acting movies in my mind with different voices, with different accents. Yeah. And I was always thinking about myself. So yeah, that was it. Yeah.
I mean, I have 3 siblings, and my husband has 3 siblings. So the idea of being an only child, I just can't even imagine. Like, when you're like,
fun.
But like when you're like free, what do? You just like
Create.
Oh,
That's the
wow.
thing. Yeah, I'm telling you, I feel like because I had so much free time in my hand, that's the reason why I had so much time to learn how to make beats. Like no one is distracting you technically. So you're always like hyper focusing on something. Like, yeah, so I think that's a pro. I mean, I wouldn't say that people should have more only children. I think the world needs siblings. Yes. Because especially when you get older, it gets lonely. I'm telling you, that's when you realize, oh, I would like to have my kind. But growing up, I'm telling you, growing up was so much fun, and I had the best things. Shout out to my mom. So yeah.
Oh, I love that. No, that's great to hear. And obviously you did, because you were able to kind of develop an academic kind of path for yourself. You got your original bachelor's in the US, and then you did your master's in finance in the UK, here in the UK, UK. And it sounded like you were kind of ready and prepped for that, academic to corporate pipeline.
Yeah.
And then you decided that, music is great and I want to be creative. I want to be a creative. How was that like? And how were the people around you kind of receiving that information?
I think everyone who went to school with me knew I wasn't trying to be in school. I'm telling you. I know even my mom knew I wasn't trying to be in school. Fun fact, when I was in the US doing my bachelor's, I intentionally failed out of school. Yeah, to come back to Nigeria. Yeah, to tell my mom, oh, mom, you see, school is not for me. So I failed all my classes. She was like, yeah, you're going to go back. That's what she said. So immediately she sent me back and I had to start college again. Yeah. And so this time, when I knew that my mom wasn't going to have me be a dropout, I was like, okay, I'm just going to close my eyes and get my degree. That kind of thing. Yeah. But my mom always knew, because even as a child, I was always that child that would perform in front of people. I was always the one they would call on stage, that kind of thing. So I'm telling you, Confidence is my debut. However, when I was 13, I recorded a song in the studio already. So I always wanted to do this. My friends all knew. Like I'm telling you, my friends aren't surprised. Nobody's surprised. No, nobody's surprised.
I love
So
that though. I love that the people around you can vouch for your creativity. I mean, I don't advocate for failing degrees because those things are
don't stay
expensive.
in school.
Stay in
No, for real. I'm not
school.
trying to sound cliche, but stay in school. Like, no, like that backup is very important.
Yeah,
It's
no, it is.
very like that's one thing I thank my mom for actually forcing me to do school because I really didn't want to. Because I mean, look at me now. I'm not using the YDX. I'm not using like like I'm here with my tambourine. That's what I'm
None of
doing.
us are. None of he said with my tambourine. That's so
I'm
funny.
telling
None of us are using our degrees, but
you.
it's
Yeah.
good we went because at 18, I don't know if we should have been unleashed to society to be just out in the world. Go to
True. Thank you. Yeah. That's so true. That's so true.
Okay,
Yeah.
in this part of your story as well, was there any kind of link to faith, or how did you come to know Jesus, and what was that link between faith and music?
Okay. So I grew up in a Christian home. Very Christian. Uh, I always say if I wasn't doing gospel music, I wouldn't do music. So yeah, because music is like a journal for me. Like it's a documentation of my experiences. I only write things that I feel so deeply about, and the only emotion I've ever felt so strongly about is my relationship with God. So yeah, so when I started making, apart from my Biscuit and Ribena jam, when I started making music, it was always about God. It was always about God. So I don't think that that was something that I had to force. It was just something that came out very freely. But right from time, I always knew that I was called. I don't know how to say this, but I always knew that I was called. Yeah, I always knew. So yeah, it wasn't difficult for me. There were even times that I was told to do secular when I was in the US. Yeah, there was time that, and you know how they come, they're like, oh yeah, I mean, yeah, it doesn't have to be like erotic. It can just be, just take Jesus out of, yeah, like just take Jesus out of the song. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. So I'm telling you. So right from time, my natural inclination has just always been, gospel music. Yeah, I'm a gospel babe. It's just what I've had struggles, but even in the midst of my struggles, everyone then you like this particular one, this one, yeah.
This one
So
loves Jesus,
yeah,
like, yeah. Oh no, I love that. And to be honest, I love that you talked about your music not being like traditional like worship or gospel, but I love that you have that influence of the Afro sound, being Nigerian. But the message is not diluted. The message is like this one is Christian. Like you don't need to listen and say, who's he in this song? No, it's God.
it's
It's
good,
God.
it's good, it's good.
It's
It's
God,
good.
for sure.
It's good.
And like you said, you've been writing songs for so long, and obviously Confidence was the first one in 2020. But why was it at that point you thought, hey, I actually want to put this music out for other people to hear? Like I want an audience that's not just me and God.
And God, hmm. Plus, I just felt like it was time. And when it's time, it's time. So no matter how much I want to explain this, I just know that there's a time in the heavens. However, in my reality, I'll just say that it was time. And that was the reason why I moved back to Nigeria in the first place. Because once I was done with my master's, I didn't even get my degree. I didn't even do my graduation. I didn't wait. Girl, immediately, it's like the main reason why I moved to the UK was because I didn't want to do my master's for 2 years. And in the UK, you do a master's for 1 year. So once I moved, I'm like, okay, mommy, I have the degree. I'm going back. So once I came back, I spent like a few months and then shout out to Jill and NK. I don't know if you know them. Yeah, Jill and NK. Those boys, man, those like shout out to them. Like I really bless God for the angels that He's put along my way, whether it's Jill, NK, Limo, Minister, these people. But at that beginning, it was Jill and NK. And I remember them just saying, enter studio now, enter studio, that type of thing. So they were the ones who connected me to Manuel, the creator at the time. And I remember going to their house. There were times I would run away from my mom's house and stay in the house for like a month. Yeah. So this was the time I was recording Confidence. So I'm telling you, by that time, it was just time. And that's what I would say. And there was no need to delay any further, So at least that's my human understanding.
No, I really respect that. I feel like, when things are not premature, they're not they're not fleshly, they're not just because I feel like, oh, now I want people to say my name or whatever.
Mhm.
That's when they stand that test of time. They stand the winds that come, the weathering, everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're so right. Like there is a time. Like
Yeah.
Ecclesiastes says. And your music has been described as like a breath of fresh air in the gospel music scene. You're a very unique blend of like contemporary gospel, because you can actually sing. First of all, you can actually sing. Hello. Praise-
Bless God.
and obviously the African sounds. And Afro-Gospel is still quite a new genre. It's one of my favorite genres. But even realistically, like last year or 2 years ago, I was listening to a completely different genre. So it's still quite relatively new to the mainstream. How did you cultivate and kind of make your own distinct sound?
God, first of all, and God through whether it's culture or identity or just environment. And I'm so Nigerian. I don't think people realize I'm telling you, sometimes Nigeria falls my hand, but I'm still Nigerian, man. So I'm telling you, so I love the Nigerian sound. Like if you watch most of my videos when I'm making beats, I'm always like percussion. I love drums. I really do. So till date, I still can't really listen to any other genre, except it's just that popular, but I really can't listen to it. So I know that my influences were Frank Edwards.
Love him.
Yes.
Hello, the original, the OG.
That's the OG. People don't give him enough credit. I'm telling you, I drank from his well. It was a whole Frank Edwards cosplay. So I think that was one thing too that helped because I'm telling you, no, for real, for real. Because that was one thing that helped my because I don't speak pidgin.
Okay.
But at the same time, people are like, oh, I just like how you're able to express yourself in pidgin. And that was years and years of just consuming Frank content, because he just has a way of, just articulating things in pidgin. So there was Frank, and then there was Resonance. I don't know if you know her. Chinwike with the Holy Ghost fire coming. You don't know Resonance, girl.
Listen,
No.
can I just say, for the record, I'm British Nigerian.
You are.
It's a different like genre, a different segment.
I feel you. I know. I feel you. I get that. I get that. But Resonance, that's the one. A lot of people that know Resonance, when they hear me, they're like, oh, like you just remind me of Resonance type of thing. So yeah. So I feel like those people who I listened to as a child, and then Kefi. I don't know if you know Kefi. Branamai. Yeah. Yeah. So the energy parts was from her. So Frank Edwards, Resonance, and Kefi. These were people that I listened to growing up. Like every day, I'm telling you, just repeating their music. So I feel like that was something that really inspired, the kind of music that I make. When I listened to Resonance at 10, I remember just saying, this is the type of music I want to do. Yeah. So she was the one, yeah. Like when I listened to her, I was like, oh, fine. Like, because I always liked gospel, but I just never at the time could really relate with the traditional, conventional gospel, So, but when I heard her, I liked the beat. I just liked how young and trendy, but then it was so deeply rooted in the word. I remember it was almost like an epiphany, like a eureka moment for me, where it's like, oh, this is what I want to do. Yeah. So I think that's really it. But the sound, you know how they say some things are follow come. Some things came from heaven. Like there's some things I will not take credit for, and I won't give any man credit for. God is very intentional, So
yeah, and he intentionally gave you the knowledge of even what you wanted to do so young. So you already had like that target, and it was very much like tunnel vision. Hello, I know where I'm going. And I think with artists, a lot of the time they don't get the opportunity to do that, because they have to explore to figure out what it is they want to do. They release all these different, things, and you're like, where's the theme here? And they're just trying to express themselves and find that thing. But you knew, and it's like, it's interesting being a fan, listening to something like Confidence as a first single released. It doesn't make sense that it's like that good. Like it's up there with and Bethel.
Yeah.
So yeah, and even in your bio that you sent, I mean, not the bio that you sent, because we won't talk about the bio that you sent. Inside joke, guys. In your bio on Spotify, you say that you aim to see lives transformed and an anointing that breaks yokes. First of all, very Nigerian phrase. I love it. Yeah. And so I would love to ask you if there is a story or a testimony that you remember hearing, or you recall hearing from someone who's enjoyed your music. So something about your music that's like really blessed them, and they've told you, and it's, it resonated with you.
Yes, a few actually. One of those times I was reading the comments under Covenant Baby, and someone was like, their dog was pretty much about to die because they were so. I know it's the most random thing. I know, and I think at least I know a little. There's a way dogs or animals can be sick that you have to put them down.
Yeah.
So it was almost time for that. And then she was like, she just kept playing cover. It's so random. She just kept playing Covenant Baby for this dog, and the dog came back to life. I know, it's crazy. But see, this is how we bring people back to life. And see, let me tell you something. I know we're laughing about this, but I want to say this publicly. By the grace of God, very, very soon, we will be so empowered to do miracles through Christ. It's just because I'm telling you, that's the life of a believer. The Bible says that when Jesus was like, greater things than this would you do. I'm telling you, like, I don't aspire for just, oh, I just want to do music. No, this is full-time ministry. We're setting captives loose. It's not a joke. Like I'm saying, I really hate demonic oppression. It's not a joke. So stuff like that. So when I read it, I was so charged in my spirit, and I was like, okay, this is good. And then there was also another one where someone had sent me a message. It was so touching, and she was like, thank you so much for releasing this song, because apparently she had just gotten married, and then a few months later her husband died. Yeah. And then she was like, it was aware that she kept listening to over and over again, and it reminded her of God's love for her. And I was like, wow. Like I'm telling you, like, it's so humbling. That's why I can never take credit for what we do by the grace of God, because it's not me. You don't make these things up. So these are just some of the testimonies that we listen to, and I was like, okay, all right, it's clear that this is not me. It's clear that there's a bigger picture here, and I'm only a vessel.
Oh, 100%. Wow. I mean, wow. Yeah, even like I know we were laughing about the whole dog thing, but like even myself and my family, like we have a dog, he's old. And so hearing that, like, oh, okay, like God really just cares about what we care about. Like, he's like, oh, is it his pets that's causing tears?
I'm telling you.
Let him live then, innit? And like, I really respect that. And I really like honor that, God can even use the vessel of your music to bring that like nourishment and bring that life back.
Yeah.
And it shows, yeah, that this is ministry. This is not just like a career and like making a name for you and things like that. I'd love for you to maybe talk a little bit about the difference between like for you what you believe personal worship to be, and then like public worship with public music ministry. What do you feel the difference to be?
I would say that personal worship is very intimate and should be allowed to be intimate. And I feel like, especially in this era where we're so moved to film everything, a lot of times we can get in the way of what God is trying to do with us personally. I'm telling you that it's like when you're with your lover, like you just want to be with your lover. And for me, I think that's the difference between personal and public worship. I mean, I feel like public worship stems from personal worship, and a lot of times these days, so people somehow are faking public worship. There's something that, because I go to CCI, and there's something that my pastor Aaron said, and he was like, there was one time that someone was leading worship, and you could just tell that, I don't think that your personal worship is intact. Please come. Are you doing good? Lots of times that can kind of be a litmus test to know how you're doing personally with God. So in fact, that's something that I'm striving to do better at, like, and especially as a musician. I was talking to one of my friends, Caleb Music, about this recently. How if you're not careful, everything that you receive in the place of prayer can be content, can be music, and then we don't know when we're starting to treat God like a content machine. But he's not, he's your father, he's your lover, like stay with him. So a lot of times these days, even when I'm worshiping and then I get like a song out of my spirit, it's like, no, I don't care about what's going out. It's just, I just want to commune with my father. So I think that there has to be a difference for the authenticity of the public worship to be kept intact. If not, we'll get to a point where we're just really diluting these things. And it's funny, I was talking to my husband about this, how I love the song, Let It Show That I Met With You. Amazing song. But even in that song, there's so much depth that I don't think that people realize. I feel like a lot of times in this era, we're so quick to run out of the presence of God to show people what we've gotten from there. But it's like, no, stay with God. So I think that's what private worship is. It has to be intimate and it should be heartfelt, because even the Bible says that the effectual and heartfelt prayer of the righteous man makes power available. So it's that power that's made available that you take out, but you don't rush the process, I think. Sorry, I feel like I was a little long-winded with that, but yeah.
No, that's perfect, and you're so right. Even that element of what needs to be private, what needs to be public, like there's the whole part of asking God, like, this that you've just told me, is this for me? Is this
Yes.
for my family? Is this for my loved ones? Is this for the world to see or the world to know? Because you're so right about people being able to use that as a litmus test of, hello, are you
Yeah.
actually where you're telling us you are? Come, let me
Yes.
lead you to worship. Are you in worship? Are you there?
Mhm.
And we also, like, we have to play our part in our relationship with God.
Yes.
I honestly, I run away from any kind of leadership or responsibility where I'm holding people's relationships with God in my hand, because
Why? You can't run for too long,
you can't, it's true, you can't run for too long. I can run a little bit though. Girl,
Uh,
I can run. But the reason I say that is because, like, I'm responsible for myself. If I'm slacking, but I'm still
yes.
in the front saying, everybody lift up your hands now, or
Mm-hmm.
everybody repeat after me, or let me teach you a new song. There's so many people attached to what
Yes.
your obedience, and
Yes.
your obedience stems from knowing who you're obeying, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, you're so right about that intimacy, about that, like, let's not make everything content. Let's not make, and this is coming from a journalism grad, okay? Everything is content in my life. And then I remind myself that no, like, not everything is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can't imagine what that struggle must be. Well done.
Thank you very much, friend. Thank you. I feel like we have talked enough and it's time to get into the music, okay? Because I am a fan of the music. I think I've said that like 16 times. There's probably a counter on the side of how many times I've said she's a fan. But earlier this year, you just popped up out of nowhere. Earlier this year being 2025, you just popped out of nowhere, like, hey guys, surprise, here's an album. Full-length album. Bethel, hello. Photo shoot done, track list released, and I was here for it, because you had like ghosted for a little bit. It wasn't even long. Like, it
Yeah.
was Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, here's an album. Love that. It's been 3 months since the album to this around the time we're recording. How have you felt about the project? How do you feel about people receiving it? What's your kind of feelings now that it's been 3 months?
It's been so much. I don't lie. I don't lie. I think I've first of all, I'm so grateful to God. I'm so grateful to God. Just seeing how well people receive it. I'm telling you, like the reception has been, I'd say, better than overwhelming. Let me say, because I don't want to say better than expected, because at the same time, by the grace of God, there was just a knowledge that no, we know what we're dropping because it was God who sent us. You understand? So I'm not going to do fake modesty and downplay what God gave me. No. So the reception was very good. And in this season, in these 3 months, I've had very happy moments and very sad moments. Because as one would expect, as an artist, this is your first fruit coming out of you. So there's been such a, like, God, okay, please help me. I'm tired. It's like someone who gives birth. That postpartum season. It's like you're just tired, that kind of thing. And then also feeling like, God, you gave me this thing, and I wish I had more capacity to do more for it. Which I keep saying that Bethel is my five agigi, because in every way, whether it's what we put, like, I just wish that I had more bread to go around. But then this is me trusting God to actually multiply what
Multiply
He
it.
gives me. Yeah, but I'm telling you, I've been happy, I've been grateful. Dropping Bethel, we had to move here kind of impromptu because we weren't even planning to move back to Canada, but we just moved back. And so balancing artist emotions of post-release with relocation. I'm telling you, like I've been I've been in the dungeon. like but I thank God because throughout He has strengthened me and He has encouraged me throughout this process. So I think that's what I'd say. I'm hopeful to see it do better. I have more music to drop, obviously, but then there's also the part of discipline where I was talking to one of my friends again, where he had said, as creatives and as people, a lot of times we sow and then we think the next thing is to harvest. But after sowing, most times there's a time for cultivation. So with Bethel, I have to just sit down and wait to cultivate it enough before I'm able to move ahead, because it also shows that, I'm not wasteful. Because when God gives you things, you have to, as a good servant, put that thing into work. So as an artist, I'm excited to drop new music. But as a servant, I have to be disciplined, and I have to, just show that I'm able to steward what God has given me rightly. So yeah.
That's so good. There's something about giving it the space to breathe as well. Like, this is a
Yeah.
full length project. And I think in a society and in a time of this music industry where it's constant singles back to back to back, like, hey, what are you dropping in the next 3 weeks? What are you dropping? Pre-save, pre-save, pre-save. I
Yeah.
think it is a real discipline to actually trust God that one album can sustain you for 12 months, 18 months if it needs to be. And even that whole thing of like dropping a project, having people listen from the top to the bottom and listen inside out is key as well, because that's how you build fans. People that are like, oh, I remember this line in the middle of 5 like,
Yeah.
that's a real fan, as opposed to, oh, I love your singles. I dance to the TikTok dances and I'm waiting for the next single. So I understand. And it's so countercultural for this music industry. Like,
Yeah. So many people advised me not to drop an album. Like, so many, like, and it wasn't bad advice. That's the thing. Like, if God hadn't sent me, I wouldn't have done it. So just logically, it didn't make sense. So this thing you're saying about just, and it's not, they were like, oh, are you sure you don't want to go to an EP? And I'm like, God didn't tell me an EP. God didn't tell me an EP, So I'm telling you, man, I'm sitting down here watching with everybody to see what's going to happen.
not
As it
spectator.
shocked you, that's why it shocked me too. That's exactly what it is.
You said spectator with the everybody with their drink and popcorn. I love it.
Yes, so
Okay, but let's jump into the first song of the track list, which is Kele
okay.
Jehovah. So Kele is praise or greet in Igbo, she says.
Yes.
Yes, okay, because I know my
Where are you from?
I'm
You're Yoruba.
I'm Igbo.
Oh, you're Igbo. Really?
Yeah.
What's your Igbo name?
Paula. I'm not about to come and say my Igbo names on my podcast, but we can just afterwards. And also I'm married to a Yoruba man now, so my surname is now Yoruba. But
Okay.
yeah, Igbo babe for sure.
Yeah.
And even me, I was doing Kele. I know Kele because I don't speak Igbo, but I know a little bit. And so yeah, this song, I love it. I think it was a great song to kick the album off. Please tell us a little bit about writing it and choosing it as the first song on the track list.
Okay, so Kele came when I had a work camp with my producers. And I had that work camp because I was stressing over a song that didn't make the album. Yes. So, because I wasn't thinking initially to do a work camp, but then it was like, okay, we should just sit down and convene to see if we can fix this song. And then when we went there, we started working on the song and it just wasn't come together. Now, remember my producer was there and he played this beat for me. His name is Preach, and he plays the guitar for Ada Ehi. So he played it, and I was like, Preach, why don't you send me beats? I like this beat. I'm telling you. And then immediately I just started vibing to it, and then I just remember what came was Kele Jehovah, Kele Jehovah. But then I didn't touch it, and I went back home to rest. And I remember just saying, you know what, Preach, send me that beat because I liked it. He sent it to me. I slept. The next morning, I woke up. And what came to my mind, and the hook came, and then one of those days, I think my husband had gone to the gate to do something. I woke up because my microphone is always next to me, so I carried it, and then did you do for me? Like this T-shirt me, yeah. That part just came fully, and I remember playing for him, and I'm like, babe, I think this is a song that should make the album, yeah. And that was how we did Kele, and it was beautiful. Had 3 producers, that's Preach, Manuel the Creator, and Killer Music. They did it so beautifully. Why we chose the song as the first was because it's a bait. It's an easy, it's like with music, there are songs that I can tell because it's a sweet, the things that we call major progression, minor progression, and all of that. So because it's a major progression, it's sweeter, it's more open, so it's more accommodating and more welcoming. So, and I'm like, if it's the only thing that, because I know that people don't listen to albums, I know that, but if it's the only thing that people hear, it's important that they hear, something that both starts with a bang, but it's also sweet, and it's also. And I remember sending the songs to people, and I remember Lima was like this one. That was why we even pitched Kele at the time, because a bunch of people were like, no, Kele is the one. So there are very beautiful songs on the album, yes, but Kele is the one that just seems like, oh, everybody come in, that kind of thing. So that was the idea behind Kele. There was actually supposed to be an intro, and Ridiculous was supposed to be on the album. Yes, I know, but Ridiculous just didn't fit in to the album. And then we're like, okay, take out the intro, take out Ridiculous, and let's start with Kele. That was it.
And a part of me also loves that idea, because I know Kele's praise is also you're greeting the audience to begin the whole project, and
Yeah.
like, hey, join me to greet
To
Jesus,
greet,
to greet
yep.
him as well. So
Yep.
yeah, I love that song. That one has been on repeat. 'Cause even the times where I'm like, oh, let me put it on to like get ready or to shower or whatever, and then I like finish something early. I've already done Kele at least.
Kele, I'm telling you, no, Kele is like, everybody take. It's like a party, like you're sharing party pack. That's what Kele is. Yeah. So that's why we did it.
I love it. On to 5 and 6. And 5 and 6, this song, I don't know what you put inside it. I don't know what you put inside the song, because this is the song that anybody with ears, right? I will tell you to listen to 5 and 6.
Yeah.
There have been times where I like will put up a story on my Instagram, and it will just be like of flowers or trees, and it'll be 5 and 6 in the background. Like, it doesn't even make sense to the story, but it's just a good song. And yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites. But I'd love for you to talk about creating this one, and what it's about as well.
The 5 and 6 came in 2022. Yeah, so this was way before I knew I was going to do an album, and I just had it. So we're at this work camp again, this 2024, and I remember we had about maybe 6 songs on the album, and I thought, okay, 6 to 7 is fine. But I just kept feeling, you find this interesting, I just kept feeling, I need a sweet spot. I need something like confidence on the album. Yeah. So that, because I'm telling you, because every album was sounding, especially because Ridiculous was on the album at the time, so it was sounding very energetic. And I'm like, no, I need something, calm. And then I was just checking through my files, and I saw this song. Then I was lost in the dark of the night, and I was like, oh, okay, you might be the one. So I remember carrying it to. There's a video on my Instagram. I'm sure you've seen it. Yeah. So that was the day that we're working on it, and I remember the producers just really loving it, and we started working on the beats. But before I worked on the beat, the song was already written. Now, what the song is about is really, it's such an intimate song between me and God. But the beauty of it is that people can use it for their weddings. So, but but yeah, especially the line where I was lost in the dark of the night, only you turned on the lights. When that line came, not gonna lie, I was a little confused. I'm like, is this a love song? I'm not sure, but okay.
Well, you're married. You're married.
Yes, no, yeah. I for sure. But then I was like, yeah, I mean, I could do a love song, but then it just didn't feel like when I thought about it as a love song to my husband, not when it was done, but in the creation of it, it felt a little forced. So that was when I knew, okay, you know what? No, I think that this is still between me and God. Okay, let's go. And then especially when the second line came, with a chasm also divided, only if you cross the line. I'm telling you, that line is one of my favorite lines on the album, because really, I mean, it speaks for itself. So, I think the song is so beautiful, it's so intimate, it's really about me talking to God as my lover. And when I say I love, funny enough, some days ago I was praying to God, and I'm like, God, I want to love you more. I want to love you more. So one of my greatest desires in life is to get to a point where God really is my truest desire. And even the song Desire, speaking about desire randomly, I didn't ask. But like you're not talking about desire. But I'm telling you,
We will
desire, we will the desire, like more and more, the deeper I get into my ministry, the more I realize that desire wasn't a fluke, or desire wasn't random. That really is my desire. Like, I really want God to be the source and the beginning and the end of my satisfaction. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah. So with 5 and 6, it's really about me, and it's just me and my God, me and my lover. So that's really what the song is about. But I like that it can be used for weddings. So I'm waiting. That's one of the songs I can't wait to perform live. Yeah, because it's gonna be so beautiful. But yeah, it's a really sweet one. It's a really sweet one.
And it's always like you like having the numbers in there, because let's even go on to 5 Agege, right? I have a story.
Uh-huh.
So one day, just picture it. One day, Paula and her husband are driving down the road, the way in London. Well, not in London, but in the UK. And you know, the windows are down. Obviously, he's driving because passenger windows, hello. You know, we're just listening to the Emandiong album that I'm always listening to. We get the
Shine.
5 right? And I'm like, 5 that's such a like, wow, so interesting and innovative. And one day it dawned on me, as in 5 as in agege bread, as in five
Oh
loaves,
God.
as in the loaves and the fish. Oh, that's what the song is about. Yeah, I don't know if anyone else just didn't get it for ages and then realized afterwards what you were talking about. I was like, wow, she's just so cool and fun and innovative. It's like, nah, like this is biblical.
I'm screaming.
So tell us a bit about that song.
Oh, 5 was the first song that came when God told me about Bethel. So it was actually the first. I remember that I was one of you know when you set standards for yourself as a Christian, and then it feels like sometimes you're not meeting up with those standards. And I just felt so insufficient. I just felt so inadequate in the moment. And I remember the day that 5 came to, I was physically sick. I don't know why. Fun fact, whenever I don't know, yeah, I know it's crazy. Whenever songs are about to come out, I physically shake. Yeah, I know it's kind of weird. From green light to yeah. Like a lot of times, my husband has to hold me, you know. So I don't know if it's just because maybe there's something inside and I'm not yet allowing it flow out. I don't know. But that day, I remember that I was physically sick and I was supposed to be lying down. My husband was like, and I was like, no, let me just go to the studio. I don't know why, but let me just go. And I started building the beat. But I remember the emotion that I felt, and the emotion I was crying. The emotion was just like, God, I don't think that I'm enough. I don't think that this is enough. I keep just disappointing myself, and I don't mean that. What I just not. I want to do better. I want to be better, but I'm not. You know, and I kid you not, I was bending down to pick something, and my hand mistakenly pressed. Yeah, my hand mistakenly, and what came was ta na na na, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. I just recorded it, and then that was actually how the building stems of the song musically came. And I remember the first things that came out of my spirit were, I'm bringing all I have to you. I'm coming as auntie. So that was the first part that came. So I went to sleep, and as I went to sleep, I couldn't sleep, and I remember just feeling. It just came to my spirit. So take my 5 and my edge midget, rushed into the studio quickly, recorded that, and that's really how 5 came. Now 5 was the hardest song to make for some reason, yeah, and it was the most expensive song to make. Yes. There were like 5 different versions. We paid in dollars, we paid in pounds, we paid in no, for real. Do you know that singing 5 triggers me? Because I'm telling you, it's like God, I'm like 5 God, I beg. 5 no. I told Gaze Baba, I was like, you know what, sir, thank you so much, because this is really proof that God is a rewarder, because this song showed me Pepe. It was so, and not because the songwriting was done. Like once the concept came, it came. But for some reason, it just wasn't coming together. And it was because we couldn't get the once again drums. We couldn't get the drums right. So I'm a piano version of 5 Agege. Yeah, there's a mid-tempo version of 5 Agege. There's like a pop version of like no. I'm just getting to love it again. You know, but it triggered me, But it's one of my favorite songs on the album. One of my favorites.
It makes sense that it would trigger you after all of that. But at least there's the potential of doing a 5 like EP of remixes. You know how Limo, Limo would do that whole thing of Blow My Mind, rap version, Afrobeat version, pop version. You know, there you go.
Yep. I'm telling you, you're not far. I just don't want to say, well, you're not far. You're not far.
I don't need the spoilers.
The spoilers.
Mm-hmm. And of course, I have to speak about confidence. I've talked a lot about confidence. The song, I think that song has been on my Spotify Wrapped for like a number of years. Bear in mind, it came out in 2020, and I'm still listening to it yearly, right? The crazy thing about you can't listen to confidence.
It's too young.
Wow.
Not that I can't, like, it takes me to a place, and like I feel too many emotions when I listen to confidence, so I have to be like emotionally prepared to listen to it, because whoa, it's such a heavy song.
I mean, I was even going to ask, like, the crazy thing about it is you actually produced that song and back in the day, you used to produce your songs on your iPhone, literally iPhone 6, doing all the producing stuffs on it. Please tell us about this song, maybe early days of producing, and yeah, just how you kind of made it happen.
Confidence, was first made on my phone, and the only reason why I did confidence when I was ready to do a song was because for some reason that was the only song that was ready. The only song that I had the verse 1 and the verse 2 and the hook. So when Jill and Enki were like enter studio, I'm like, okay, you know what? I have this song. I might as well just do it. And I remember sitting with Ima that day. That's Manuel, the creator, and it can take up to 30 something minutes. We're done with this one. Yeah, it didn't take. It was very easy to make. Very, very easy. I remember yet again I had a headache that day. I was sick, and I'm just tired. So even like all like the takes on confidence were supposed to be practice takes. Like, okay, let's just hear how it sounds on the beat. So I wasn't even singing. I was just like, well, how was confidence? You didn't give me confidence. Yeah. So, sorry, that's how much I don't listen to that song. So I just remember like once we recorded the song, we're like, oh, this take is good. We're keeping it. And before you know, pa. That's how we made confidence the official one. Now going to the beat production, I used to skip classes in college to make beats. That's what I used to do. So I would make them on my laptop at the time, but then majorly on my phone. I couldn't really make it on my laptop because I couldn't afford because I wasn't going to ask my mother for money to buy software to make beats. I just wasn't going to do that. So I used to have the free ones at the time, and those free ones just you couldn't go back to the file. So I had to transition to my phone, and I don't know. I just was able to make it by the grace of God. I can't explain it. I just knew what to press. I just knew what to do, and so that's how all this was from confidence to covenant baby. Covenant baby I made on my iPad. Yeah. So that's really it. I've just always I don't really work well waiting for beats to sing on. Yeah. Especially because at least before now, people had struggled to understand my sound. Because when you say you're a female artist, it's either they make it too soft, but then if you're like, no, give it a little more depth, they make it too hard. And as we know, this space for a very long time has been very male saturated. So even producers are now learning to tweak their production to accommodate not your what's the word I'm looking for? Not the generic type of female this and that's like, oh no, like make it balanced. That's like they're learning to bring balance to their production. Funny enough, one producer, the person who produced Greenlight called me some last week, and then he was like, how far now? You didn't give me any song on the album. And we're just laughing. I was like, no, it wasn't intentional. And then he was like, I even went to learn mixing and mastering again because of you. So you can tell that, you can tell that a lot of producers are learning, especially when it comes to working with me. I'm like, no, don't add that thing, remove it. We be fighting, my guy. But at the end of the day, everybody's happy, So I'm also very thankful for the gift of making music from scratch. And I like how I see producers light up when they make the music that we're working on. And then you can see like, oh, this music pushed me musically. Like it opened my mind, that type of thing. So I'm thankful for that. But it's really the grace of God, just having such a fundamental understanding of music, one which I do not take credit for, but also a lot of time that was spent just playing with anything music related. So
it's the hand in hand of like a gift from God, but also cultivating that gift as well.
Yeah.
And I love that you touched on the space being very male dominated. Obviously, that's why SheHH exists.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to production and producing. We're starting to see women creep into that space, but it's been predominantly men. So you need to get this guy to understand what's in my mind. Like, hello. And I love that because you have that background where you know what you're doing as well. It's that you can actually give the words and the language for what you want. And I think what we struggle with, we being women in the space, is we have this vision in our head, but we may not know the exact language to explain, hey, I don't want the bass on like this, or I don't want the whatever it is. And so they're doing what they think sounds best, but it's like, hello, I have a vision that I know God has given me for this song. And I don't want anything to dampen it. Nothing. Not too much bass or too much anything. Nothing.
That happened at Ejidisu. Ejidisu was somewhere else. And I remember telling people that, like, I don't care if it's just one person. that likes this song, but I'm going to be very true to the exact idea that God gave me. So that's why when I'm not surprised that it just is not the most popular on the album. Oh no, I'm not surprised. Because I remember telling them, no, take this out, no, remove that thing you added, remove it, keep it as God gave me. I don't know why He gave it to me that way, but we will honor what He gave me. So I'm telling you, and a lot of times in the industry too, I think that we've, by the grace of God, earned the respect. Because when I'm telling you, man, it's subtle, and it's also subconscious with our male contemporaries. Sometimes it's not intentional, so I won't even put it on them. But like, yeah, like you can just see now when you speak, they listen. But before, when you would speak, it's as if you don't know. No, I know what I'm doing. I'm telling you, this is not what I want. I'm telling you, and shout out to thank God for the kind of husband that I have as well. Because he's the one, like, if Emma says that's what she wants, give it to her. Leave it. Like, leave this girl alone. That type of thing. So yeah, now they listen.
I love that. It's not even that I had to make them listen. It's like, hey, the work spoke for itself. Husband is speaking, God is speaking. Who else do you want to beef? Who else do you want to fight? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people listening and watching to this will recognize you as the girl from Limo Blazer's smash hit Desire.
Yeah.
That one makes me laugh because I go around telling people like, oh, I knew her before that. Like, oh, you're a fan from Desire? Oh, that's cute.
Before Desire, I knew her.
Before Desire, I knew her. Before Desire,
you know how it's Emandiong. I knew her as Emma.
I knew her as Emma. Oh, that's cute. You're struggling with Emandiong. I knew her as Emma. Sorry. Sorry. According to Spotify, or alone on Spotify, it's already on 8.5 million streams,
Yes.
which is just a blessing because this song continues to just reach the world internationally. I remember I was I think it was Christmas, I was catching up with my in-laws, and my sister-in-law was like, oh, like we're doing music videos. They're like, oh, have you heard this song Desire? I said, heard it? It's got two of my favorite people on it. What do you mean? I just love how like it's touched so many people around the globe, and that is something that in your bio you speak about wanting your ministry to do: touch lives, transform lives worldwide. So I'd love for you to talk about how that feels for you, just having your music transcend like geographical boundaries and reach people tangibly worldwide.
It's humbling. It's humbling because I've also come to find that music spreading is by the grace of God, especially in these times where people are paying millions to take. I'm telling you, like I'd be praying like, God, what's funny? I don't have the financial capacity, but please let your grace do it for me, because I can't battle with people who are putting down bucks to promote their music. So I'm telling you, it's humbling and it's a privilege. And I'm always so thankful to be used by God as a vessel. I don't take it for granted. It's not like one of my favorite verses in the Bible is when the Bible says that Jesus makes us that He's our sufficiency, and then He makes us able ministers of the new covenant. I'm telling you, that's being a minister is such a privilege. Like I tell people, ministry to me is God's mercy to me. Ministry is God's mercy to me. So I look at those numbers and I'm grateful to God. That's all I can say. It's nothing that I did right. It's nothing that I could have done. I couldn't have planned it. Even Limo, I'm sure Limo did not. Like, I don't think we both knew how big that song was going to be. Every now and then he'll text like, sis, this song is having another wave again. So, and I'm thankful that it happened so early in my career, because that's always something that is like, oh yeah, like it shows us where God is trying to take us to and what God is trying to do with us. So I have so much love for that song, and I have so much love for Limo and his family. I am grateful to God for those people, and I pray that God blesses him. Limo does so much. Like, just, I know we're not talking about, like, Limo does so much behind the scenes. Like, that boy, God bless him. God bless him. So yeah, it's just humbling, and I'm grateful to God, really.
Even the music video as well, like that was flames. You guys were
we shot it in 2 different places.
Yes, of course I knew that.
Oh, well, at least you knew this one.
The shade. Do you know what?
Forgive me.
No,
But
I'll take it. I'm the interviewer. I should have known. That's true. But no, I mentioned the music video because first of all, I talk to Limit all the time about him and music videos. He will invest in a music video. And that's something I really miss. I wish artists, and I know it's expensive. I'm not naive to believe and understand like how much it's basically you throwing money away because you just won't make that money back. I get it. But music videos, man, they just show and convey such a joy about what the song is. Or if it's a slower, sad song, even just convey the emotion. And I think one of my favorite things about people discovering you on that song is, and even my sister-in-law said this, is they were like, oh, I didn't know who she was, but the energy, yeah, just like you went all out. And they were like, okay, let's go and Google. And that's how they find the rest of the music. And you were really good as well, because when that song came out, you then went like back to back with singles afterwards. So it was like, okay, now I'm following you because I liked you in the Desire music video. Now I'm seeing you're dropping a new single and I like the single. Then I'm going to see another single. Okay, now it's 2025. There's an album. I now like the album. And of course, I know it wasn't a whole marketing strategy or anything like that. It's very much God
Yeah.
but that music video just was like part of that beginning,
Mhm.
you know, expression to the world of like, hey, I'm here, but
Yeah.
also showing a bit of your personality, a bit of who you are and the joy of the Lord that you have.
Yeah.
And so I guess my question is, your personality is really fun. I know you're an introvert. I know, like, people that know you know you're an introvert.
I really don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. I'm telling you, I really don't know. I wouldn't. I can't answer. I I don't know. I try. Oh, uh, I know that I personally don't like social media. I think that I get very stressed when I'm on there. If you're not careful, you're always in this space where you're seeing what God is doing in other people's lives, forgetting that He's doing something in your life. So I find that I always need to kind of limit just how much I digest. Because I'm telling you, I've said it before, I don't think that it's normal for us to know this much about people's lives. I think it's abnormal. I know it's the new normal, but I don't think it's normal. So that thing stresses me. But at the same time, I don't know. I just half the time I'm not there. And because I think because most times I'm just here in my studio praying and making music. So I don't know how to balance it. Like I've spoken to people and they're like, okay, maybe I could get a social media manager and all. But I'm always scared of people representing me in ways that I don't want to be represented. Like I know that I speak a certain way. I know that I sound a certain way. I know that my energy is a certain way, and I'm always very protective of that. So if it's not from me, I'm kind of nervous that it won't seem authentic. I'm very much about authenticity. And I worry about spamming people with things. I'm once again, I really like being authentic. I don't like when things are forced down people's throats because I don't like when things are forced down my throat. So I always like to do things in bite sizes, that kind of thing. So even down to promoting my singles and all, I try to not do it too much, just so that I don't throw. Yeah, for because I don't like it. So I think that sometimes I treat social media the way I think other people treat it, and that's one thing that I'm learning. I'm learning and I'm grateful but that God also gave me the grace to this album. I know that it's just music, but the album is helping me in so many ways. Where it's like now I'm learning to get more comfortable putting out more content. For instance, before we did this podcast, I spent so much time praying because I was so anxious because I had posted yesterday. Yeah, so I get very anxious when I post things. I get very anxious when I have to do social engagements. A lot of times it's very overwhelming for me. So I don't know. So I think that's just my answer. I'm learning. I will do better because I know that I have to uh just do the needful. But at the same time, I also don't want to lose myself while doing it. So I think for me, it's finding a way of doing this thing that other people do, but doing it the way I was made to do. That's why even the way I promote my singles, I don't really know how to stand in front of a camera and dance, but I will show you how I made the music. So that to me is a particular texture that I like to keep, you know, authentic, I think. But I'm telling you, I'm learning to do better. But at the same time, I don't think I'll be talking too much because I want people to see me as a serious babe, man. Like, that's why I'm telling you, I don't smile in photos. Meanwhile, when we're taking all the pictures, I've been laughing. It takes a lot to make me stop laughing. But then when it's time to post pictures, I don't want people to, because I feel like when I see me smile, this girl, she's a little unserious. But yeah, but I'm learning, I'm growing, and I'm learning.
And
Yeah.
I've been enjoying the like behind the scenes or beat breakdowns as well of the songs, because I think that also shows a part of who you are with the music, but also shows us that like you created this, like you are in every strum of the guitar, in every drum beat, and that is a nice way of getting to know you. But also like personality is great. I know for me that when Confidence came out, you didn't even really have socials, so it was just like the love of the music, 100%. But then following you after that, I was like, oh, like love of the music, amazing. But she's great as well. Like this woman of God is a normal person who's fun and loves life and is great, but also actually really loves God. And that's what's permeating from her music. That's what's attracting me to her music. And so I hear you. There is such a balance. And I'm not speaking as a guru, please. I on my own socials, I'm not, I don't exist. It's just SheHH, you'll see me on. But I'd love for you to maybe getting towards the end, I'd love for you to speak about or even encourage fellow artists who are introverts or private people that are just like, listen, all this shouting, I don't want to be a part of it. What encouragement have you received or can you share to them?
Especially as Christians, I think that at least personally, one thing that I don't play with is the leading of God. The Bible says that for those who are led by the Spirit are the sons of God. When I have not known what to do, I've prayed. And that's one thing. That's all I'll tell people that are maybe learning to balance social media. And I know it might not connect, but here's how it connects. Because for me, I'm like, God, okay, I want to post this, but I don't know what to do. Okay, God, just help me. Because the Bible says it's God who works in us to will and to do. So even the things that I post or things that I don't post, I have gotten to a point of so much confidence in my position in Christ and how he leads me that, okay, you know what, if I'm posting these things, it's because I've been allowed to post it. If I'm not posting it, because dare I say, I mean, well, we wouldn't know, but like, I'm very happy for the way that my page and I think my music has evolved over time. It's steady. I like that. Now, I wouldn't go as far as to say, oh, it couldn't have gone faster. I don't know. But for me, it's about being intentional, about being in the will of God. And so if anyone is struggling to know what to do or how to do it, just pray. I know it sounds simple, but prayer is such a gift that we have. Prayer is such a key that we have. Because I'm telling you, like ridiculous, when I dropped ridiculous, there's a reason why I dropped ridiculous the way I did, because I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to drop content after it. But immediately after one or two posts, I didn't feel led to drop anymore. I just felt led to let it be. So I don't have any, because I'm not a social media expert. I'm also not a branding expert. But one thing I know is that prayer helps. Prayer teaches you. If you're praying, you're in the will of God. And you're not just praying, but you're praying and also allowing yourself to be led. Because there's a way we can pray, but then we're imposing our wills and our proclivities on our prayers. So when you pray, just allow yourself, okay, God, I don't know what to do, but okay, God, help me. And if you feel led to post, you post. If you don't feel led, don't post. It's fine. That's what I'd say. That's what, like the post that I posted yesterday. I prayed and prayed over it. Before I make a post, I'm praying like, okay, God, because God, I'm anxious. God, I don't know if this is the right move. God, please help me. And if you don't want me to post this, let me not post it. And it's either I would or I wouldn't. So that's really my advice. I don't know if it makes sense, but that's all I can give because I'm not a branding expert.
No, that does make sense. And to be honest, prayer should be the answer of any of our questions always. And so it is encouraging to know, like, and it also takes the pressure off you to perform. It's like, hello, this could go far or it could not go far, but either way, I'm in the will of God, so I've won that situation. And I always hear things, and I know it's like mainly in jest, but things like, God is above the algorithm. So if we're now doing what time should I post? Should I post this? Should I post that? God is above it. If he wants it to go viral, go viral. If he doesn't want it to go viral, not go viral. Like just do what you know. Hey, I've been called to do this in this time. I've been called to share this in this time. I've been called to not share this. So this is not me telling you to, start a social media plan where you post every day or anything crazy like that. So yeah, I think that it definitely does encourage and help. So we're coming to the end of the interview. It has been so great.
Now I didn't know how much I needed this. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. No, and thank you for your answers. Thank you for your honesty, for your vulnerability, sharing your heart as well. Like you really didn't have to. Again, being introverted, you could have just been like, what do you need to know? Go and listen to the music. But you shared, and I'm so grateful. And I think people watching and listening can really be blessed and learn from you. But we want to say what is next for you? What is coming up? Have you got any collaborations, ministry projects, things that you're excited for that you can share?
Oof. Okay. What's next? Working on new music, as always. But I just need to know when to post the new music, when to release the new music that I'm working on. But that's really what's next. And just growing in ministry. I want to come back different, because the Bible says that latter will be better than former. The Bible says the path of the righteous shines brighter and brighter until perfect day. So I'm currently in the place that I was before Bethel came out. That's where I'm back to, yeah, in that koinonia. So that's what I'm doing, so that when we put out what we have next, it will make sense. But I'm working on new music. That's really what's next. And I'm trying to do live. I'm just waiting for, the finances to come together. But I really want to do live versions of songs on the album, because I pray that I'm able to do that. And also trying to get videos together as well. So there's just right now we're just doing the Bethel cultivation while working on new music. So that's what's next.
Always say we when you're referencing stuff about your music. It's never I am doing this. It's always we, and I love that.
Yeah,
we
that's true.
It's you and it's God, yes. But I'm
Yeah.
sure it's hubby, I'm sure
Yes.
friends and family. I just love the way you do that. Like, it's one of my favorite things when like you meet artists and they're just all about me and my team. We, it's like, yeah, like it's not all on your shoulders. It's not all on your back. It's this thing is not just, yes, you're the face, but it's not just on you. And I love it because it's so organic as well the way you do it. It's not like you're trying to be my team, my manager,
Yeah, but and I thank you for even mentioning my husband. I just want to say, because I don't speak about this very often, but I want to say a big thank you to my husband. I'm telling you, that man, God did a thing. Like I like that, when women in the faith get married, you can tell that God really handpicked their husbands for them. Like, I'm sure that I can say the same about your husband as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So like, I just want to say thank you to my husband. He goes over and beyond. I'm telling you, there's several times when this guy is sleeping on the ground of his studio because we're recording. In Lagos, he's driving me from the island to the mainland, from mainland to the island, 5 a.m., 3 a.m. So I know. I just want to say thank you to him. Barnabas, I love you so much. You're amazing. Like, you really are my best friend, because we're best friends in high school. So yeah.
Give it. It's a love story. I feel like that's a beautiful way to end this. So thank you so much, Emandiong, for being on the podcast. Thank you so much to everybody watching and listening.
Hi guys, I hope you enjoyed that episode of the SheHH podcast. If you did, please leave a like rating, comment down below, and share this episode with a friend. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at SheHH Podcast.